Brace yourself, man! What the Verd is barbecuing.
G'day jabronis, this is TheVerd back with you again, and welcome to our Week 6 match for the NPL Miners. Your Tampa Bay Frogadiers currently doing really well. We are currently 5-0 with a plus 18 differential. Currently undefeated, the only undefeated team right now in the NPL Miners, and we're looking to continue that. It's going to be tough though. We have a Week 6 match here against the Red Maine Clawitzers, coached by Tone. Really good guy, we get along really well. Both are wrestling fans, which is very helpful. But yeah, this match was a really tricky one. Tone hasn't been performing the best. However, his team is still incredibly formidable. He did just come off a really big win too to keep his playoff dreams alive. So he's going to be coming up with a lot of fire. And so, you know, to be able to deal with that, you have to bring a pretty cool team. And these are a lot of very Verd sets that you're going to be hopefully enjoying. But if you're hyped for this match, then like this video, subscribe down below. All that good stuff. You know what to do. So, looking at his team, there are obviously some massive threats. Now, my team doesn't really have the best ways to check a lot of these things, so this is kind of it's a tough one. The plus side for me is that he's obviously not going to be able to bring every single thing, so the best way I looked at it was kind of covering the things that I expected to be the best to come, and then having pseudo checks to the other things. So, in a way, if they were there, then I'd have ways to deal with them still, but they wouldn't maybe be the best ways. So, kicking things off, we got RVD the Seismitoad. This was initially Toxapex, but I decided to drop Toxapex because I didn't basically I needed something to do with Zardex. Could have gone with Ockerberry Buzzwole, definitely could have been an option too, but literally if you went for Willow, that's just bad. So Seismitoad was kind of chosen. Initially the Seismitoad was actually Rest Talk with Earth Power and Scald, but because I wanted my Mew to be a bit of a different set, I decided to go with a Chesto Resto set. Basically it allows me to kind of 1v1 Zard. I can take a +1 Outrage, even from Adamant, just fine, fire off an Earth Power, and that's pretty much all the damage I need from there to be able to get it done, because if the Zard's packing Flare Blitz, from the recoil he does to get rid of my Buzzwole, I'll be able to knock him out as well after the Earth Power damage. So overall, really solid for me to do that play. Scald's just there as a general, just water stab, hitting the Crobat, things like that, but the Stealth Rocks are the crucial thing. Being able to weaken Zard and we get other members of his team is really massive, because it does set up some really good calcs for me, but fully defensive, no mucking around. Its basic job was in this game to deal with Charizard. I just couldn't let that thing set up and just destroy my team. But another big threat to my team was Diggersby. And my Buzzwole was kind of designed to do with Diggersby, but also designed to kind of put in work against a lot of his team. So this Buzzwole was designed with a very specific purpose. I looked at his team and I looked at his best Buzzwole switch-ins. And by far the best one is Crobat, because being able to, 4 times resist both of my stabs is massive. So I decided to go with a set that kind of lures in Crobat and allows me to blow it away. So basically I go for the Bulk Up, which means that with the Bulk Up and the Cobra Berry, even a Banded Brave Bird from Crobat's only doing about 40% to me. So I can eat that up, he's going to take a bit of recoil, and I can go for a +1 Ice Punch. Now, it might not be able to kill this Crobat, but at the same time, I'm going to be able to get off a really good amount of damage, and the basic plan though, guys, is that once the rocks are up with Seismitoad and Crobat has taken these rocks coming in against Buzzwole, it will drop to the combination of Brave Bird Recoil plus a +1 Ice Punch. Most Crobat sets will drop to that, so that's awesome. Bulk Ups also is really nice to deal with Diggersby. If it is potentially like an SD set, it gives you Ice Punch still is going to wreck it, but it gave me another way of dealing with Zard. Basically, my thing was that I didn't want anything on my team being fodder for Charizard. That was my aim, was trying not to have any fodder for Charizard. And so that's why I kind of had the Bulk Up, because that way, if I go on for one Bulk Up, then an Adamant Zard's Flare Blitz does not kill me at all. So that's awesome. It allows me to eat that up, and then I can just obviously go for the Earthquake and just get off some damage, hopefully get that boost, if I can, that'd be great. But yeah, Buzzwole's main aim was to deal with things like Diggersby and to lure in things like the Crobat, but also it kind of deals with T-Tar as well, just in general, but it might be HP flying, so I gotta be careful. But this was probably the set that I was most hyped to use for this week. Basically, this Mew had a phenomenal matchup against the majority of his team. I designed it specifically to be able to outspeed Gardevoir, because the moveset that I currently have on it, like Zen Headbutt's my strongest damaging move, which isn't going to do that much. But, in that being said, if I can get up the boost and outspeed Gardevoir, pardon me, god damn it, get the hiccups, Zen Headbutt can start doing some decent damage, because Gardevoir's a little bit weaker on the defensive side. This coverage basically deals with everything barring Celebi and Guard, but that's why I've got the Alola Muck there to kind of deal with those ones. And, at this point, it's just such a good one, because it comes in on Conk, I can set up a bulk up. He can try and knock off, but obviously because I'm holding the Psych MZ, he won't do anything. And the reason I got the Psych MZ is because these are where the calcs come in handy. After rocks, my Psych MZ, so my Shattered Psyche with Zen Headbutt will Oko Manaphy and will Oko Zardex. That is really, really important. Really didn't need that message right now, Andrew. Please just don't need that. But yeah, this set was really crucial to me. And again, it's another bulk up mon, but this one was a bit more ideal than Buzzwole. It can set up on a lot of his team, and it can pressure a lot of his team. Obviously, with the Drain Punch being there as well, I can hit T-Tar and other things and just like constantly put in work. So it's a kind of late game win con, but also an early game just way of busting through a lot of mons in his team. But looking at some other options, I guess, that I have here. So Muck initially was Assault Vest, and then I was like, you know what? I always bring Assault Vest, and I feel like he's going to predict around that. So I decided to go with Sugarberry, and the reason for that was because this allows me to have a secondary way of dealing with things like potentially the Diggersby, EQ ZX, Earth Power Celebi, things like that. It was really solid, and the big thing was it allows me to deal with Tyranitar if it goes for Earthquake. Because if I'm Assault Vest, then like Banded Earthquake's going to hurt me, whereas with Sugar I can take it and then be like, well, I can go for Brick Break now. I've also got enough speed in my Muck to the point where like an 8-speed Tyranitar is getting outsped. I don't know if he's going to chuck speed in there or not, or creep anything, but I decided to creep that point. I'm going with Gunk Shot because after knockoff, it will knock out most Conkelda sets if it is not like super HP invested, so that's great. Knockoff is the main spammer move because his team does not have a lot of great switch-ins to knock off Alola Muck, so that's going to be fantastic. Moving on here, we have Okada, the Xurkitree. Really interesting Xurkitree set this week. It's a bit different from what I would normally bring with Xurkitree, but I really liked it in this matchup. This Xurkitree is basically my Manaphy check. As stupid as that sounds, it is by far the best Manaphy check I have on my entire team. It can take hits really, really well, especially with the Assault Vest. The bulk is actually surprisingly good on Xurkitree. And then I have the Hidden Power Ground to deal with things like the Magnezone, Energy Ball to deal with Diggersby, and I guess also to hit Wakan Manaphy. But then I've also got Volt Switch and Thunderbolt because it's just so good in this matchup. I'm so sick of these people sending me notifications. Once I'm done with the team builder, I'm going to put things on streamer mode, so you won't be able to hear those. I do apologize. I literally had not got messages for people for about an hour and a half, and now they're like, hey, while he's in the middle of recording, let's interrupt him. So fantastic. But we're going to move on here to, again, this thing honestly has been probably my favorite mod to use this season. Like, Buzzwole is great, but Mega Sceptile is so good. Like, the possibilities with this thing are great. So initially the Sceptile set that I had was a bit of a mixed attacker. I had Power Up Punch on there for GP, but I decided to go with this set. I liked the physical combination of Earthquake plus X-Scissor with the special combination of Giga Drain plus Dragon Pulse. Basically just breaks through the majority of his team. It doesn't really hit T-Tar ridiculously hard, but at the same time I have Buzzwole, Seismitoad, Drain Punch Mew, Brick Break on the Alola Muck, so it's not like I didn't have enough T-Tar answers. And this thing, like, X obviously breaks through Celebi, Earthquake breaks through things like the Magnezone, and then Giga Drain and Dragon Pulse just fantastic double stab. So overall, I felt pretty confident with this team going into the game, but obviously Tone has a very scary team, so we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully, we can get ourselves to a clean 6-0 overall. Let's see if we can make it happen. Alright guys, so here is the matchup. Streamer mode is on, so bless up. Basically, he brought a lot of the stuff I was expecting, a few things I didn't expect. I was really surprised not to see Crobat. Like, I did prep a lot for it, but in matchup theory, like the fact that I had a Mega Sceptile plus a Buzzwole, it made a lot of sense, I feel, for Crobat to be there. I was also thinking like a special set could be really nice, like Air Slash, Heat Wave, obviously for Celesteela, and then Giga Drain for things like Seismitoad could have been really nice for him in this matchup. Obviously Air Slash is really nice too because it hits on the special side of Buzzwole, which even with a Cobra Berry is a lot easier to break down. So definitely think that that could have been better for him in general. But yeah, like, it is what it is. He's still got a very scary team. So the way I saw it was that Manaphy could be Tail Glow, could be Scout, could be like anything really in this matchup. I was expecting the moveset wise to be Ice Beam, Energy Ball, Surf, and Tail Glow seemed like the best combination. However, with that combination, it would mean that Pex is a bit of a threat, so I was thinking could also potentially be some kind of... it couldn't be Calm Mind because of Haze Toxapex, so perhaps Psychic was there, maybe over the Energy Ball, so that he could deal with other things. That does leave him a little bit weak to Seismitoad, but again, like a +3 Psychic does a ton to Seismitoad, and I can't really do much back to him, so I can understand why he didn't have Energy Ball. T-Tail is looking kind of scary. If it's Bandit, I don't really mind too much because I have Buzzwole, which is chilling there. If it's a special set, that's kind of annoying, but Muck can take that and go for Brick Break. Zard is just Zard, not really much else to say. Seismitoad's there to deal with it. Celebi is kind of annoying, but at the same time I have Muck plus Sceptile that can come in against it pretty easily. Magnezone, I was fully expecting Scarfed in this matchup. Just looking at his team, Scarfed, either Magnezone or Diggersby seemed like the most likely, and the other one was either just... I mean, Diggersby I could also expect Life Orb, but I kind of expected Scarf. But looking at the matchup here, I felt Sceptile was my best lead, as he does lead with Diggersby. Now, obviously I don't want to risk this thing being Scarf, so I go out to my Buzzwole. But as I see, because I switched out first, I already know he is not going to be a Scarfed Buzzwole. As he goes into Celebi, I predict this. Now, I could have gone for a Pursuit there, but if you look at his team, there is no switch in for Knockoff, and he just has to go to the Diggersby, and I'm like, well, okay. Just going to go to my Buzzwole. As he goes through the return, as you can see, that does absolutely nothing to me. So I'm just going to choose, I believe, to go for a Roost this turn. I could have gone for the EQ, but at the same time, it was a lot safer just keeping myself healthy. He goes into Magnezone. Now, the reason I click EQ on that turn, so basically, I clicked EQ on that turn because my Buzzwole is designed to outspeed Magnezone by a point. So if he was Scarfed, I really doubt he would go with HP. I mean, he could go with HP Flying for this matchup, but I was really doubting it. I felt HP Grass was a lot better here. HP Grass, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, and Flash Cannon made a lot of sense for a lot of my team, breaking through a lot of stuff. So I was like, you know what? He doesn't have a really way he can hurt me here. So I'm going to stay and go for EQ, because if he's Scarfed, he can't knock me out. It's like the Jolteon situation last week. He won't be able to knock me out. And if he is any other item that is not Scarfed, I'll be able to outspeed and get off a huge amount. Either if he's Shooker, he's Shooker. But like, if he's not sturdy, I can just get off a huge amount of damage with my Buzzwole here. And if he goes into Celebi, I obviously have the play that I could go into Muck. But at this point, I kind of predict him to expect Muck, so I go into my Sceptile. As he gets a crit, which doesn't really matter too much. Like, it sucks, but at the same time, I'm going to double into my Muck, predicting this hidden power. Oh, not hidden power, I didn't expect HPI, so I expected Psychic. Again, I don't want to go for the Pursuit because I just get a free knockoff right now. And at this point, Celebi's not the biggest issue. So he goes into Zard, and I'm like, I'm just going to go into Seismitoad, no big deal. He's going to drop the EQ. Now, the worst part about this EQ damage... actually, it wasn't the worst part, because I've looked at it now. So it was 25.4% at the time. Now, an Adamant Zard's EQ, at minimum, does 25.1. So from there, I basically knew, okay, he's Adamant. That's fine. We know now that he's Adamant. It means he currently touched Seismitoad at this point. And I didn't see him staying in and risking his Zard getting weakened. He has a Celebi in the back, so I'm like, you know what, we're just going to go for those rocks. There's no reason not to. But he actually goes into Magnezone, and I'm like, alright, that's a play. I go into Xurkitree, as you can see the Assault Vest eats stuff. I go for the Hidden Power Ground because I know it will kill, but he's actually Shooker. And I'm like, well, crap, he has HP Ground as well. And I'm like, ow, okay. But yeah, I decided to go into... I basically get the kill there with Xurkitree. And I decided to sack it off. Now, the reason I chose to sack it off there, I could have gone out to Sceptile or out to Muck, but my basic planning for this was basically so that I can get into Muck next turn and go for the Pursuit. Because looking at the matchup right now, Mew basically has this one with Bulk Up. I can beat the Zard, I can beat the Manaphy, I can Drain Punch and kill the T-Tar, so all I realistically need now is the Celebi weakened and dead. So I go for the Pursuit here. He actually reveals to be the Continental Crush, but because... it's not a Continental, it's Techno Rage, but because I'm Shooker, I can eat it up, I can go for the Pursuit here, and basically leave the Celebi at a good amount of range. I'm going to go into my Sceptile, eat up this Earth Power, and at this point, I'm pretty free to just Mega up and go for the X-Scissor, as he is not Tangerberry. I was a little bit hesitant to go for it earlier with Sceptile, so I just go for it there. He goes into Charizard. Now, he told me the reason he went into Charizard was that if he went straight into Manaphy, it would reveal Rindo. I don't think he knew that from the calcs, but Manaphy actually, when it comes to having no HP investment against a Sceptile going for Giga Drain, has a good chance to actually live after rocks. So if he'd gone into Manaphy, I wouldn't have actually thought that he was Rindo. I just would have thought, you know, that's probably the best chance he has of living. I was very surprised he didn't go into T-Tar, because if it did have the Sand, then obviously that would increase his special defense, and he had to rely on a Focus Blast hitting. And he was Chople, so T-Tar basically could have lived any of those hits. I think he said he wanted to keep it alive though, because obviously it dealt with Mew, any other Chople for Buzzwole, so he tried to, you know, play around, and I was like, no, I have Dragon Pulse, Scoop Izard, and then he goes into Manaphy. I go for the Giga Drain. I know Sceptile's probably going to die here. I get a crit, actually, which is kind of wild, but yeah, I knew I was probably going to die at this point. I was like, that's fine, because like I said, at this point of the game, Mew's got it on lock. He can go for Surf, I eat that up because I do have a bit of bulk, and I'm going to go for the Zen Headbutt. Crit did not matter, I'm 64 attack Adamant. that did not matter at all. He goes into T-Tar, and I'm just going to drop a Drain Punch, and he's another berry. He brought like 4 berries to this game, which is freaking wild. He's going to drop the Dark Pulse, but because of that bulk, like I said, we're going to be able to live that just fine, and we're going to be able to drop the, yeah, I had the Drain Punch on lock, so I was able to lock that one up pretty good. So we get the 4-0 win there. It was kind of wild that he brought, I think, three berries. Yeah, he had the Rindo Mana Feed, the Chople T-Tar, and the Sugar Magnezone, but unfortunately it didn't really save him in the end. Buzzwole did not do anything really, neither did Seismith. They just kind of came in and did little things, but we do end up getting that 4-0 win, which means now we are 6-0 with a plus 22 differential, which means we already clinched playoffs last week. Now we're just looking really strong. We only have one more game left of the regular season. That's against Motatui and Tampa Bay Luxrays next week. He is currently 5-1, so it's going to be a bit of a clash of the Titans there. The only way I can miss out on getting top seed on my conference is if Mono, I believe, would either 5-0 or 6-0 me. So obviously not going to try and let that happen. Just going to play my normal game. Should be really good though. I'm very much looking forward to it. If you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. We're doing really well so far in the minors, guys. Been very much enjoying how it's been going and the progress we've been making. And we're just going to keep it going towards playoffs, because it's not going to really mean much if I go 7-0 and then lose in the first round of playoffs. So I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. My name is TheVerd, and I'm out this bitch.